This program airs statewide on California Public Television and is a California's Gold classic. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association. Hello everybody, I'm Huell Hauser, and here we are on a beautiful stretch of beach in Santa Monica. At first glance, this may just look like another pretty stretch of beach to you. But for those people who know their history and know it well, they'll recognize the fact that not only this beach, but these people are fine examples of California's gold. It was one of the most famous addresses in the world. From 1934 to 1959, Muscle Beach was synonymous with health and fitness, beautiful people, and the California dream. Huge crowds gathered to watch men and women of all ages build human pyramids, fly through the air, and do all kinds of other acrobatic feats. Of course, there were bodybuilders there too. Muscle Beach was the place to be and helped start the modern fitness movement that lives on today. But there's a human story here as well, because Muscle Beach was also a family place. Friendships were started here, relationships that have lasted through the years. We were invited to spend a day with some of the members of the original Muscle Beach family, spending time with them and seeing firsthand the obvious affection they have for each other and listening to their wonderful stories. It's clear that Muscle Beach was much more than just a beach. Now, who are these fellows? Are these old-timers?
Oh, they sure are. The one in the red is Les Stockton. He's
real good.
How you doing? He's one of the originals?
one of the originals.
And your name, sir?
Glenn Sunby.
You're one of the originals, too.
Known as Whitey.
Whitey. Did everybody have nicknames out
Oh,
here?
yeah, everybody did.
Mo?
Mo is
I was
mine.
Mr. Pudgy, wife
Mr.
of
Pudgy.
Wife of Pudgy.
You and your wife worked out together down here.
Oh, yes.
And you were Whitey.
Yes.
Well, let's walk out here where it all happened. Where was the platform? Where did I've seen these pictures with all these huge crowds in it. Where were all these people? Where were these?
The restaurants were right there.
Right across
Right
here.
there. And so the platform was right about where your tree is.
Uh-huh. So you had a big platform here.
Yeah. It started just with a rug.
Uh-huh.
And then they put a platform up to get it off the ground. Then they had benches out here for people to sit and watch it. And on Labor Day and 4th of July, there'd be thousands of people sitting around the whole thing.
Now, was this a weekend thing, or was this every day of the week?
Well, it was every day of the week for the diehards.
Uh-huh.
In the summertime, wintertime, whatever. Sometimes it'd be 2 people down here. Other times it'd be hundreds.
Uh-huh.
But during the special shows, Mr. Muscle Beach, Miss Muscle Beach, and all of that sort, then we had tremendous crowds.
Now, did the three of you all work out together?
You know, there was a group of about 20, 25 people, and we'd all intermingle and have different groups doing this thing. Of course, you had your own 1 or 2 or 3 people who you set up your program acrobatics and things for.
Was it a real program? I mean, in other words, if I'd come out here as a tourist on a Saturday afternoon, and I had the whole afternoon to kill, what could I see out here at Muscle Beach?
Well, if there was an organized show, of course, if we were performing a show, well, then we'd have acts coming on in turn. But if not, we were just improvising and trying things, and somebody had said, well, let's do this, now you'll do this, and we can do this, and we can build up a 4 high. So it was impromptu, generally.
But you really weren't pros, were you?
Later later on, many of us became pros.
Right.
I met a partner down here and started practicing, and we ended up a routine and ended up going down the Strand in Long Beach to get started, and ended up playing Radio City Music Hall, a Broadway musical for Mike Todd, Desert Inn, Flamingo.
Really?
And all of that through the years. It was just comradeship. You can't believe everybody would come. In fact, the guys are working out here, and the girl tourists would come, and the guys would grab them and pull them up and throw them up in the air.
You're kidding.
And they'd go back home to Nebraska, Oklahoma, whatever it was, and just remember it forever.
Their day at Muscle Beach.
Yeah. Everybody would help each other.
There was no jealousy at all?
Oh, never, not a bit.
We tried to outdo each other, but it wasn't jealousy.
There were very seldom any injuries at Muscle Beach. I think one girl broke her arm one time, but that's about it.
Now, who was on the bottom? Who was
the time.
You were the one on the bottom holding everybody up. How did you?
No, I was.
Now, they had several.
Mo did his balances and everything else. I was always on
one
the
of
bottom.
many bottom men. We had a lot of bottom men.
Now, how did you get designated to do that? Was it because you were the strongest? You had, what was
The least talent, I'd
They were
say.
willing. They were willing. They were willing to let people climb all over them.
Let people climb all over and fall on them if you had to protect them on the way down. I like this thing that Mo brought up, is that we never hurt anybody. Now, you've got some pictures, as you saw, with Paula and people flying through the air, 20 feet up in the air. How do you stop somebody from getting hurt? Because they were caught properly, and the spotting is the word, assisting so that nobody really ever got hurt here. And I was always surprised that we never hurt anybody.
Look at this. We're right here at the beach.
Yes.
Did anybody ever go swimming?
Oh yeah, we'd take a break and go in the ocean, come back. A lot of times, then we'd walk down the beach, and the funny part about it, when he had all the muscle men here, when they walked down the beach, all the guys, they never paid much attention to us, but with all the Steve Reeves and all that gang of guys, and Grimmick and all happened to be here, when they walked down the beach, the crowds just owed and awed, because that was long before it was.
Well, what was the delineation between the muscle guys and the gymnasts? Did you all get along, or was it two totally different philosophies of life?
It was quite different, but I think that there was a little difference there. But what happened is we worked all day long. By the time we got here, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning till the sunset, where they would come and work out for maybe an hour or two. That was the end of their workout. So the rest of the time they're out ogling all the girls and getting in our way. Anytime we're picking up a girl, they say, "Oh, I want to hold her up," you know.
I got you.
And so that way they weren't quite as talented in the lifting and the balancing as we were. But we haven't brought in the fact that we had high bars and rings and parallel bars, and there was tremendous exposure on that. And fellas were doing tricks here, triple flyaways off the little rings, long before any place else in the world they ever did anything like that.
And it all really happened by accident, didn't it?
Well,
I mean, this whole Muscle Beach
It wasn't
thing.
planned.
It wasn't planned. It's kind of grew, you know, like Topsy. It just grew.
And you were known as
Well, I guess the flyer.
the Flyer. And we've got some pictures of you that are amazing. You're literally flying through the air.
Oh, yes, they tossed me every which way. I really went over the top of these two girls when they were being held by some fellas, and we used to have contests to see who could go the farthest in the air.
In the air?
Oh, yeah. There'd be two fellas throwing two girls, and we would have contests to see who would go the farthest, and one fella would catch.
Wasn't that dangerous?
Oh, maybe, but we didn't know it.
So this was
We
just
loved it.
youthful fun out here,
Yes,
wasn't it?
absolutely. Every time we came down, it was fun, because you made new friends, you learned to do new things, and it's hard to describe what a wonderful place it was.
Well, it was good, clean fun, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yes, it certainly was.
Back then, there weren't many women bodybuilders, were there?
No, they criticized us.
Now, what do you mean they criticized you?
They thought we were ruining our health.
Did they really?
Yes, they were you know.
But the people came to watch us, and we had 10,000 people on a weekend watching us,
Really?
and the city didn't like that at all.
Oh, so initially Santa Monica didn't like it.
No, they
Because
didn't.
these crowds just kind of came out of nowhere.
That's right. they had to put on extra police and extra cars, and it was quite a thing.
Now we have found a great picture. Pudgy, that's you.
That's me.
Holding up both of these guys?
Yes.
That is amazing.
I was very proud of this because it was one of the first times I ever was able to do this sort of thing.
Was it just a balance thing? You had to be really strong to do
Well,
that.
they had to be good handstanders too. See, he's doing a hand-to-hand, and he's doing a handstand on my knees.
And we might mention, here's the guy right here who's right here.
Oh, this one.
Right here.
Yeah, right.
Well, how did you get connected with all this?
Well, I met Pudge and Les at UCLA. We had a four-man acrobatic act.
Called the Four Aces.
Called the Four Aces. We met down at Muscle Beach here weekends and worked out together.
Uh-huh.
That's how it started.
And you've been together ever since?
62 years ago. That long.
Wow.
I might add, if you would let me, Don Brown's been up on the top of some of the highest mountains in the world. So he's a mountain climber primarily.
So all of these
Dr.
people
Brown.
were really great athletes and good physical, what was it called? Just physical fitness? Is that what you all were promoting?
Yes, physical fitness. That's why Vic Tanny and Jack LaLanne and everything, they started because of Muscle Beach.
Yeah.
It was the center of the physical fitness that Vic Tanny had gyms all over the world, came from this beach. Jack LaLanne started in San Francisco and then came here. And Schwartzer, pardon? Joe Gold, yes, Gold Gyms.
So all the big names were here.
That's right.
Now, Mo, we've got some great pictures here in the scrapbook. This is you and your two brothers.
Yeah, that's my brother Bert and my brother Jack.
And you're holding them up.
Yeah,
You were always on the bottom.
yeah, right.
And here you are again. This is amazing.
That's Carl Carsoni. He was a world-famous professional acrobat.
Now, how did you all learn to balance on your head like that?
Well, once you learn it, it's easy. We're the only three people in the world that ever did a triple giant
On
swing.
the one bar, three
I'm-
guys on the same bar.
We all intertwined with our hands.
Oh, I could hardly even see you down there, but there are three of you there.
Three of us going around. Nobody's ever done that
And
before.
also, there's another thing. Mo has the record of doing the most giant swings at one time, bare hand, no hand guards or anything. Over 50 of them, I think.
Yeah.
Now, are these in a record book somewhere?
No, I
Just
doubt it.
among us.
Okay, well, that's good. That's
But
good
we know
enough.
it, but we remember it.
Well, look who I've hooked up with. Your name is?
Sarah Clark. It was Sarah Hirsch Clark. Now,
And?
I was Miss Muscle Beach 1948, second Miss Muscle Beach down here in Santa Monica.
Oh, my gosh. And what were the responsibilities of being Miss Muscle Beach?
Well, I did come down here quite a bit, photographed, did some of the gymnastics. Had a wonderful time. I was in some of the muscle magazines, and I was in several of the muscle contests, but we never had muscles in those days.
Now-
I mean, we didn't have big muscles.
So make a muscle for me.
Well, it's not really much of a muscle, but...
But were you a bodybuilder or a gymnast or just a
I
very
actually-
attractive young lady who became Miss Muscle
Well,
Beach?
I did work out with weights, and I still do, and I believe in good, healthy living,
Yeah.
and I think it really makes you feel good.
We're standing at the place that I thought was Muscle Beach. All these years I've been coming by here looking at this old equipment, thinking this was Muscle Beach, but it isn't, is it?
No, it isn't. That came much later, after they closed Muscle Beach in '58. And none of this was here then.
None of this.
None of this. The trees weren't here, the restroom. None of
Where
it.
was Muscle Beach?
Well, about 100 feet up in front of that big white building. That's the Purser Hotel.
Now,
Purser.
you started coming here in,
34.
so you were one of the first.
Yeah, I was. I'm 81 years old.
And what got you here in 34?
Well, in high school, I had a few friends, and they were interested in acrobatics. So we came to the beach on weekends, and we worked out in the sand. There was no platform then. And that was in 35, 34, and 35. And
what'd you do? Just start meeting people and...
yeah, well, gradually we got more people interested in acrobatics, and 3 highs that we did all the time.
Now, it was acrobatics, wasn't it? It was not Muscle Beach the way a lot of people think of Muscle Beach,
No.
with a lot of weights and bodybuilders? And
No, there were no bodybuilders in those days.
well, now wait a minute. I've seen pictures of guys who look
Well-
like they were bodybuilders.
Well, it wasn't very popular, though.
Uh-huh.
It came later on when we got the weights at Muscle Beach.
Uh-huh.
What we had at first was canvas.
Look at this. There's just a piece of canvas out there on the sand.
That's right. That's all we had when we began. And a lot of times we didn't have that. And then there was this one. You can see the
Oh, there you
first.
are.
Yeah, that's me.
A very young girl.
Yeah, that was only about the second year I had come down here. And it was just a very low 6-inch or 4-inch platform, and we all brought our old carpets.
To
And
work out on,
yes,
to do your
and
show on.
That building is right here.
Right over here. So that building was here
Oh, yes.
in the 30s.
I came down when I was 11 years old in 1943, and Mo said, "Hey kid, you want to be an acrobat?" And he put me on the shoulders, and I was hooked. So that's where I
So
started.
you literally had never done anything like this before.
No, nothing.
You just came down here at 11 years of age.
Uh-huh.
Mo picked you up, put you on his shoulders, and you were hooked from then on.
Yeah, I've been making a living at it ever since, professionally. Because I ran away with the circus in '47, and then did stunt work and trapeze and high work in the circus.
So wait a minute, Mo is responsible for getting you to run away to the circus?
Yeah.
Mo! Mo, come here a minute. This fella says you're responsible for getting him to run away and join the circus.
Yeah,
I don't blame him for that, but he got me acrobatics.
One day he came down to the shack, my office there. He says, "Can I have some ping pong equipment?" I says, "Forget that." I said, "I'm going up on the platform workout." So I took him with me, and that started him doing gymnastics, and he ended up one of the greatest in the country. Flying trapeze, and he did Risley acts.
Can you tell immediately, could you tell immediately when these young people would come by whether they had a talent or not?
Yeah, well, I could tell by how they were built if they had any future in acrobatics.
So many interesting Muscle Beach stories about how people got here.
Well, in 1955, when I got out of the military, I had to come to Muscle Beach.
Now, wait a minute. How had you heard about Muscle Beach?
All the muscle magazines. I was doing a little bit of bodybuilding, and I was in gymnastics at school. But when I came out here, these people thoroughly rebuilt my whole psyche, and we were on the bottom. Mo was usually, if you notice how small he is actually, he was on the bottom. Or on the top or in the middle. Well, they taught me all of that too. So
Did you just wait a minute? Did you just get off the plane,
pretty much
come to Muscle Beach and introduce yourself and say, "I'm here"?
That's right.
And they took you in.
That's what they did all the time. It was such a nice, homey, friendly place. And Paula and Mo and Russ and all these people that you've been interviewing are just the most wonderful and the most talented.
Another great Muscle Beach story. You want to give tribute to someone here?
Absolutely. Well, this is my mom, Dottie. My mom did an acrobatic act with my dad. She worked with Frank Sinatra and Jimmy Durante. And when they were on USO in 1947, she said all the acts, when they came to town, made their pilgrimage to Muscle Beach, because that's where all the acts, when they were visiting, would come to work out. So in 1968, when I came to California as a young actor, stuntman, I came to Muscle Beach. I met Russ Saunders.
Just like your parents had come in 1947.
And I met Russ Saunders. He had a teeterboard, and I always wanted to try that. So I went over, and he basically adopted me. He was like my West Coast dad, and trained me and got me started in movies. And I would have to say, almost single-handedly, Russ Saunders kept Muscle Beach alive. When everybody kind of gave up on it, Russ used to come down with equipment and trampoline and teeterboards and trained little kids. And I was 18
in the
at the
60s.
time. In the 60s.
Because
late
Muscle
60s.
Beach actually shut down in 1958, didn't it?
Never shut down.
Never shut down.
No, sir. Well, they just moved it over to the grassy area. The acrobats they may have taken down the platform, but they couldn't kill the spirit of Muscle Beach, because all the old timers and the acrobats, and then the new acts that were coming up. You'd see ice skaters and people that were with circuses, and you come down, and the old timers would show them new moves and pass it on. And I was 18, and Russ used to train little kids, 5, 6 years old. And he said to me, "You got to train the little ones, because that's the future." So he would set up a teeterboard, and any little kid that was at the beach, they would line up and come down, and Russ would teach for free, and Bob Yerkes and Russ and Mo and all the old-timers would come down. But Russ, I would say, I call him Mr. Muscle Beach, because he kept it alive. and it's still alive today.
Now we've walked just a few yards down from the original Muscle Beach to the beach that has the equipment on it.
Right.
And what's happening here, Glenn?
Well, this equipment is going to be torn out, and they're going to build a new Muscle Beach. The city's in the process of now all the plans, and many of the old timers have helped make up the plans. So we look forward to that.
But what's happening right here? Look at this.
Oh, we have a bunch of.
Oh my gosh! Now, is this the way you used to do it?
This is the way. No, a little bit lighter.
Nothing you can hurt.
Oh wow, this is great.
It's just a lot more fun to pick up women than weights, you know what I mean?
And this is the way you used to do it.
That's it. We would just take and combine all kinds of unusual things for big pyramids and whatnot.
And you're right up in the middle, the queen bee here.
Queen bee from Bulgaria.
Did you used to work out here too?
I show up here in the beach, and before I could say anything in English, I end up playing acrobatics upside down with all those wonderful people here, and
You're still doing it.
I'm enjoying it a lot. I can't stop doing it, and I have this wonderful training from all these people, and Bobby Yurkus got me started in stunt business, and I'm here sitting on top of Conrad Palmisano. You should see his latest movies out there.
Oh boy, we're still in show business here at Muscle Beach. That's always the way it was, though, wasn't it?
Absolutely, always was. People would come tell who they were, and they immediately were friends, or we knew their brother or sister or cousin.
Well, were there a lot of agents down here kind of scouting out for stunt people for movies?
Well, they certainly did.
Now, you got initiated to Muscle Beach how?
Oh, probably by the same way as most people. You're walking along and someone says, there's someone small, and they grab you and hold you upside down, you know.
And this happened to you?
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden you're like, who am I sitting on? You know, who's
Yeah.
there? What am I doing up here, you know?
But you've been coming here a long time.
I've been swinging on the ring since I was 3 years old.
Really?
And you know, you start getting piled up on top of Russ and Paula, and Mo teaches us how to do giant swings around the high bars. And
You taught her how to do that?
Yeah, I did. Right over at this, right there at those bars.
Now, you're going to do something for us here.
It's called a gut lever. I learned this down here.
A gut lever.
Gut lever, yeah.
All right, I'm curious.
Okay, this is a gut lever.
Let's see what we're doing. We're doing the gut lever.
We face the other way?
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
Now, does that bring back memories?
You did it with one hand. Look at one hand.
Absolutely does. You know, aging is hell, but memories are absolute heaven, and this is one of those.
Yeah. Now, this is the way it used to happen, right?
Yes,
Right. What are we doing here?
We grab a stranger and
That's
put
me.
him on the ground, and we build a pyramid on him.
Okay, you ready?
Well, I'm ready. What's going to
I'll try
happen?
and
You hold the
I'll
mic.
hold the mic. Now, lie down on
Well,
your
I'm a
back.
stranger that you've just
That's
gotten
right.
off the... All right.
Lie on the back with your head this way. Back up.
Put my feet in the air. There we go. No, I don't want to take my shoes off.
Hold on, Coach.
Go!
Hold
Wait
on.
a minute.
Keep
wait
your
a
legs
minute.
straight.
Straighten your leg. Oh, you got to
gonna
keep
lean
your
on you.
legs straight.
right.
Legs straight. Come on, that's it. Conrad, please.
Conrad,
Conrad, no.
Somebody help me.
Can you help me? Put your arms low down.
No,
Then-
that, yeah.
Like this, on the ground.
On the ground.
Wait,
Oh my gosh.
Squeeze me strong. Squeeze me.
Squeeze your hand.
There you are.
Your hand.
There we have the beginner holding the pyramid.
Hooray!
Very good.
That was amazing.
Excellent. Here, look at the muscles.
See, that's the way people got hooked on Muscle Beach, wasn't it?
Can't miss.
Wow.
Aren't you hooked?
That was great.
You are great.
That's how they got you?
That's how they got me.
That's how they got you?
Yes,
That's how they got you?
That's how they did.
How about you?
I'll be back next Saturday. Let's do it again.
It was an age of innocence, really. And we look back at it, there's no place in the world like Muscle Beach. There just was never anything where people got together on the beach or even in gyms to that informal workout. And just learning and helping each other and just having the comradeship that we had.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed this adventure. If you'd like to see it again or share it with your family or friends, or perhaps donate a copy to your local school or library, it's available on video cassette and on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727 and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.